Are you struggling to win Sorare rewards? If you are, you need to do something now. Because after this weekend, the international break will happen, and after that, there will be the biggest transition period Sorare have ever launched, to then follow up with the biggest update, which will change Sorare forever, and I think it will do that in a very positive way. I've talked a lot about it, but in today's video I will tell you how you must prepare to not go on different mistakes. I've played Sorare in over 1 year. The market have just gone down, but I've still made some profit, and I want to help you guys, so you better call it Sorare. Or in other words, you should become a member if you want in-depth gallery reviews, and also me building your lineups, and also making an identity to your gallery and going through different strategies that may suit you the best. And all that will you get by being a level 2 member, and you will of course get way more benefits. So it's just to go in the description and join via the link, or click the subscribe button and click join, and then they will show a lot of benefits. So just read through that, and if you want, it would be much appreciated if you became a member. But for you guys that don't want to be a member, or if you don't have the money for it, it's completely fine, because in today's video I will go through general tips and tricks, and also how to be prepared for the transition period. And also for you guys that want to be a member, I think now is actually the best time, because I'm hosting many more tournaments in the future, and also now I'm going to be posting a community page tweet where I'm going to be telling you different steps, so I can actually help you the most when it comes to the gallery reviews. And it will be very simple, just questions about what your plan is for the future and everything. I think it will be very simple, and I will do a lot of research and spend a lot of time on each one of you guys to give you the best tips, the best strategies, and a general very good gallery review. I will of course make videos on each one of you guys, and I hope you want to become a member, because that would mean the world to me, and I'm very motivated to help each one of you guys. But now I have talked way too much, and now what is the most important thing to do for every single manager? And that's not depending on your gallery, because this is a step that is important for everyone, and that is to filter your gallery. Where are you the strongest, and where are you the weakest? We can use my gallery as an example, and when you look on the screen right here, I've used rare, because most of my limiteds are from the collection to glory, and the rare is the scarcity. I'm going to be prioritizing the most and getting the most from. And yeah, if you scroll down, I have of course marked rare, and then I have marked Premier League. That is, if we go over here, yeah, here we have it. Here we can see that transition competition structure from March 24th to August 24th, that is the transition period, and after that, these 5 will be permanent. The global All-Star, global cap to 70, and global cap to 40, and global cap to 20, those won't be permanent after August 24th. Just keep that in mind. So these 5 are the different we are going to mainly focus on right now. But I'm going to shorten it, because I don't want to focus on under 23, because I don't have any under 23 goalkeepers. But if you have it could be very important to do that as well. But let's look at Premier League firstly. Then you go filter out Premier League. Do you have any strength in your Premier League? And then I have filtered it out already. And then we can see here, go through the players. And what I really like to do then is to click here on positions, goalkeepers. How many goalkeepers? And I think you need to of course count how many starter goalkeepers you have, and then you can count how many midfielders, how many defenders, and how many forwards. Let's say here I have 1 starter goalkeeper in Josesa, I have 1 starter goalkeeper in Andrea Onana, so 2 altogether. So then I can think, okay, so I could actually make 2 starter Premier League teams. But of course I need to check if I have enough defenders for that. And if I do that, I see that I have a lot of Manchester United players, because I have a Manchester United collection. So I also have some other players in, for example, Mepam, that may play on occasions. But still, I think I have a full Manchester United backline, so I may have, or I, in many cases, have a full 4 players or 5 players that actually starts. So I'm very luxurized when it comes to this. So I will be able to play with 2 Premier League teams each week when it comes to goalkeepers and defenders. And then we go to midfielders to check if everything is good here as well. And yeah, it looks good. We have, of course, Casemiro, which is a nailed player from Manchester United, and also Caicedo, which is a nailed player from Chelsea. So I have 2 players there as well. So I'll be able to make 2 teams there as well in the Premier League, or so far I'm able to do that. And then we go to the forwards and check here, and then we have Garnacho and Rashford. Those are 2 nail starters for Manchester United. So when I have counted all that in, I will be able to make 2 different Premier League in-season teams in the transition period. And now I can, for example, say, okay, I only have 2 starter forwards. What if Alejandro Garnacho gets injured? Then I have Antony. He will most likely take over his place. And of course I have also Anthony Martial, which is injured. But I could think, of course, let's say that Rashford and Garnacho gets injured. Now I'm actually screwed, so I could potentially look at a new forward. And that is something that is very important to do, because you get the overview over your lineup and where you have your gallery, and where you have the strength in, for example, now Premier League. And this we can of course do with different leagues. For example, or not leagues, but scarcity. When I talk about scarcity now, I don't talk about limited, rare, super rare and unique. I talk about these different tournament scarcities. For example, Premier League, Champions, Challengers and Contenders. And I've actually done it with every single one. And now I've marked out every single champion player besides Premier League, because I want to play the Premier League competition and I also want to play the champion competition. So then here I have marked out every single champion team besides the Premier League. If you don't have any Premier League players, you don't need to mark out the Premier League. You can have it on, it's up to you. Or if you just have 1 or 2 Premier League players, it could be, you could just mark it on. I could also do it now, but I think this is easier for me. And then we can start with position, very fast, goalkeeper. And also you can get a little bit of a view of my plans for the future, because I'm going to tell you that very soon as well, because I've actually, I didn't think I would go so strong in one scarcity or one tournament, you could call it. But yeah, here we can see I have actually only 1 starter from the goalkeeper spot, so that is something I may look at. Another champion Europe goalkeeper, Alex Remiro. He's the only one. He hasn't been too great recently. But yeah, so we have 1 champion goalkeeper, and then we can go to defenders. Here we have a lot of starters. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6, 7, 8. We have 8 or maybe 10. He isn't a champion player though. He is not a champion. Yeah, so that is wrong actually. So that is because we go to... yeah, so keep that in mind. This is from where the cards are minted. So keep in mind, or I think this is actually just a bug, to be honest, because I will show you soon that my Leicester boys aren't here. But if that was a bug, the Leicester boys would have actually been shown here as well, because those cards was minted in the Premier League. So this is just a bug from, or that's La Liga High Promotion. I need to take that off and take Serie A there. I'm sorry. And yeah, when we go to the defense, we see here that we have, of course, also Victor Christensen. So I'm sorry for that, that was my mistake. Yeah, Victor Christensen is another, so we have nearly 10 defenders. So we see that I have a lot of defenders in Champion. So I could have actually made like 3 or 4 or 5 teams. But I have only 1 or 2 very strong midfield defenders, which is Hiroki Ito in my opinion, and Kiernan Tierney. Lenormand also could be good, and also Valdemar Anton, and also Castelletto in some occasions. But let's move on to midfielders, and then we can see here I have only 1, not 1, I have multiple, but not too many. I have only 3 midfielders, which isn't the best, but it's enough. And then we go to the forwards. And here we have 1, 2, 3 starters. I'm only counting the starters. Like Jamie Laveling isn't the starter, Alexis Sanchez isn't the starter, although he has been on an incredible run of form lately because of the injury of Thuram. But these are the 3 starters I will consistently rely on. So what this tells me is that I am actually able to play 2, 3, 4, or at least 2 teams each week in Champion. And the only reason I'm not able to do that is because I don't have enough goalkeepers. So now I could be on the scouting for a new goalkeeper in Champion. And that is something I maybe should do, but I can explain you why I haven't done it already. Although I have scouted a lot of Champion goalkeepers, but the reasoning for me not buying anyone is something I'm going to be explaining now, and something about my gallery identity, because that is something that is very important to me and something I won't lose. And if we go to here, we can see here we have crossed everything when it comes to the Challenger. So this is the Challenger, and you know me, I have a Leicester collection, so many of these players will most likely go up to the Premier League in August. And that is something that is very important to look at. You want to prepare for the future. You need to think worst case scenario. Let's say, for example, you want your Leicester players for next season in Challenger because you think they will stay. But then they go up, you need to have a plan for that, although that isn't the ideal thing, but that will in many cases happen. But yeah, now with these players, I want to check if I can utilize them the most for the rest of the season. So now I will just firstly look at them from a Challenger point of view. So for the rest of the transition period until the end of this season, 23 to 24 season, if that makes sense for you guys. And this is also very helpful for you guys that are in the same situation as me, if you have players, for example, from Leeds, Ipswich, and also, of course, Leicester that may go up. But yeah, we can just start with position, goalkeeper. And then we can see we have two starter goalkeepers here, Daniel Iversen and Daniel Bachmann, which is nice. So we have two goalkeepers here in the Challenger region, yeah, that's right. And then we have defenders. We have Yannick Vestergaard, which is a starter. We have also Wout Faes, which is a starter. And we also have James Justin and Ricardo Pereira. Ricardo Pereira is currently injured, which isn't the greatest. And also James Justin not being 100% nailed. So we have at the moment, two nailed starters. And then we go to the midfielders. And then we have, for example, Dewsbury Hall, which is nailed, and Didi, which is slowly coming back. Ken Sema currently injured, and also Hamza Choudhury coming back instead of Ricardo Pereira, and also McAleen, which I signed recently because I needed more depth in the midfield spot in general in my gallery, because like I have a lot of weaknesses when it comes to the midfield spot. So that was very nice to get him in there, and also the forward spot. We have like here is actually where we are at our weakness. Weakest, yeah, that is right. Weakest because like it's very hard to predict between Jamie Vardy, Patson Daka, and Kelechi Iheanacho. But Jamie Vardy has been very good recently, so I think he will be nailed for the future. So we'll at least one here and two with if Daniel James starts. So in one case, you could argue that we need an upgrade to the forward spot as well. And now I think you have gotten the image of what I'm trying to show you, to actually look at the different regions, or the different, yeah, you can actually call it regions. Let's go here and just look where your strength is. And the reasoning for me actually, like this saved me a little bit, and that is what I want to tell you and explain to you, because yeah, let's do this and then we can go here. David Marshall, he's the only player from or we need to take La Liga high promotion, I think also. So we have two players, or two players that actually plays. That is Leandro Cabrera and David Marshall. So I know from August onwards, when the transition period is over, that David Marshall will have no utility for me at all, no utility. Because keep in mind, these four will be removed. So he can't be a global captive 40 keeper for me anymore, because that is what he is now. But that he can't be that anymore, so that is a little bit unfortunate. So I need to get rid of him before the game week, or the league is over, or the transition period is completely over, and then the permanent update will be launched. And that is something I wouldn't have been able to find that out if I didn't go through this, because of course this is a little bit complicated to know which league is in which different scarcity here. Contenders, Challenger, Champions, and Premier League. And this is something I really recommend you doing by yourself, to just get an overview of your gallery, where you need upgrades and where you need downgrades. Like downgrade not in terms of quality, but in terms of, do you have too many players in one position, for example? And that is a good example for me personally in the defense. In Champion, I have so many defenders, and it's not necessary for me, because I don't use too many of them, and some of them are here just for experience purposes, but most of them are starters actually. So that could be something to argue against, that I'm probably doing something wrong here. And also in terms of my plan and why I'm not going out and buying a new champion goalkeeper, there are, first of all, numerous reasons for that, because I think the prices of them are pretty expensive at the moment, but it's just not that at all, because I'm actually trying to go even stronger on the challenger, and I don't want to spoil it yet, because there is a strategy I'm going for here that may be destroyed if I tell you guys, because that isn't because I don't want to help you, but this is just for people with a big lesser collection. So there may be other lesser collections that listen to me now, and when I tell you what it is, they will do the same. And then I need to pay more money to get that player. I hope that makes sense, and I of course will tell it when they're closer to the deadline, and I don't either want to tell it before, because of course the prices get inflated, and I've gotten some comments about that when I buy players, that I recommend them to other, like I say, you should buy this when I have it in my gallery, and I can understand that I'm just trying to pump the players up in value, but that is not what I'm trying to do. So that is also one of the reasons. I'm not telling you which player I'm talking about now, but it's another goalkeeper. I'm trying to go for challenger, and then I think about going for champion. And this is something that isn't that easy to find out unless you actually do this, because Sorare is of course a global game. And also now, if you look here, and another reason, now, like when I look at my gallery for an instant, I have a lot of strength in champion in my opinion, and also in Premier League, and also in challenger in rare. And I think I want to play challenger as long as possible. But what is going to happen when the lesser players go up to the first division? Or if, let's say you have some players in La Liga, Serie A, that goes down, you need to look at that. That is very important. And that is like the last tip now I want to show you really fast, because like it's very hard for me to give specific tips for you guys because I don't know your gallery. So remember to be a member if you want specific advice, and everything I have explained it at the start of the video. But the thing I'm heading at now is I have so many players from the championship in specific. That is mostly my challenger value. And let's say we go to, let's filter this out by Leicester. Team Leicester. Let's do this. Then we have 14 players. And as we saw before, I had 20 after, yeah, that makes sense, 20 after I filtered, or before I filtered them out. If we go back there, and also, and this is something currently team, we need to do that, Leicester City, current team, there we go. And here we can see, we have actually 13 players, I'm sorry, because I forgot to filter it out. So I have 13 players, so that means that when every one of these goes up in the division, which they most likely will, I will only have 7, and I say 7 players, challenger players. And the majority of them are actually playing, if we go to this, we can see that if we go now to the goalkeeper, we have 3 goalkeepers here, and 2 of them are starters. Imagining next season, me having 2 starter goalkeepers, going to the defenders, where we have 0 because he's on loan. Midfield, we probably have 1 McLean. And then we have Daniel James, which Leeds may also go up into the Premier League. So in many cases, I could have 2 goalkeepers with no utility. Legit none. And that is something that also is very important for my gallery to look at. And you're probably wondering, why am I buying another goalkeeper from the challenger region? And that is something you need to just wait to see. But I'm trying to go very, very strong on challenger. And in specific, once again, a very, very important step. If you want to pick between in-season and classic season, this is of course, you need to do this. And like an example why I'm not showing this in today's video is because I have already structured that out for myself. Let's say if we go here to competition eligibility, no, it's not that, it's serial number, nationality, age, player, season, team, card level, is that the, no, competition. Why isn't that showing here? Am I blind? Okay, let's just... Like, I'm getting... why isn't it showing here? Like, let me just go out and in again. Okay, let's go here, see my cards, and then we go to... position eligibility, competition eligibility, position... Why isn't it showing here? Card edition. No, card... Why is it showing here? Like, this is so... Season... Yeah, there we have it, season, finally. Oh, that was very rough. I'm sorry, guys. I don't know why I didn't see it before now. But this is something also, if you want to pick between in-season and classic season, you could also do this with the different steps, as I told you. Pick in-season for champion, if we go here, champion, challenger and contender, and also Premier League if you have some Premier League players. Or if you want to play classic season, check your classic utility and do the same there, because of course there will be the difference between in-season and classic season. I hope that makes sense, but for me it's very easy. Because when we go to champion, I have only in, and that is something I have done on purpose actually. If we go here, we can scroll through everyone. Of course not McLean because he's a new purchase, but like almost every single player here is either Premier League players or champion players. And that of course I've done on purpose. And that if we go now to the 22 to 23 season, we only see challenger or mostly challenger players, and that is also something I've gone through because I want to prioritize challenger in the transition period when it comes to the players I have purchased, when it comes to of course the championship players mainly, and also of course the lesser boys aren't in-season cards because they don't have any cards minted when they of course got downgraded to the championship, and that is also why I don't know why Rafael Varane is of course an all-season card, because he doesn't have a new season card. And the same with Alexis Sanchez. There are of course some champion players here, but like 95% is challenger or contender players. And that is what I'm going for. Going for classic in challenger, in season in champion and Premier League. And that is my plan, and that is something I think you should look at, and that is something I'm going to be doing for you if you don't want to do it, and also go more in depth about the different players you have. I don't have time to do it in today's video, and that is also, I don't have time to tell you everything I'm going to be doing, but this is like the easiest, the basic, and tips that you could implement yourself now. You could do it now. So that is very easy, and that gives you an indication of what you need to do in the transition period or before the transition period. That is even better, to do it before the transition period starts. In this international break, do your research between when the transition, or no, the international break starts to when the transition period starts. That gap between there could be a very, very good time for you to do some changes in your gallery, see where you are very strong and in some cases too strong, so maybe downgrade there. And if you, for example, don't have enough goalkeepers in, for example, challenger, contender, upgrade there. And I hope that makes sense. And of course, I will catch you in the next one. Bye bye and take care. Peace.